Hey YouTube, Sandra Expeditions here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about my 1 year anniversary since I started, Vipassana meditation, since I did my first 10-day silence retreat. And yeah, I just want to share a little bit about my experience because I made a video before about my Vipassana experience. But I feel like there's just a lot more information. I've done a lot more since that video in the Vipassana community. I did another course and everything. So I just wanted to give a general overview. I have some notes here. So I just want to explain what is Vipassana, what is the retreat, my background with meditation, my experience with Vipassana, how it helps me, the overall benefits of Vipassana, how I've been consistent or tried to be consistent since my retreat, and I also have some data from like how much I've been sitting, and also my future goals. So yeah, so if you see me look down, it's because my laptop is here and it's about to be sunset, so I hope I can get as much light. I'm really right in front of my balcony window, so I'm just hoping that the sun is still here. All right, so wow, it's been a year. All right, so it's 2024 right now. I did my retreat last August. I did the Black Heritage cohort last year at Damodar in Massachusetts. It was for 10 days, and it was absolutely incredible. And then I did it again this year, Juneteenth, Black Heritage cohort again, and that was even more amazing, or just as amazing. And I've also done like a few other things that I'll get into. But for those of you who don't know, a Vipassana retreat is basically a free retreat. You go away for 10 days and you have no communication with the outside world. They take your phone, they take all your technology. You can't read, you can't write. It's a silence retreat, so you can't even talk. You can only talk to your teacher when like after a sit, and your course manager who helps you organize the course, or like who helps assist you during your course. And so all you can do really from like 4 a.m. when you wake up until lights out at 10 p.m. is like you have this whole routine. So you're just like meditating basically like 10 hours a day. I would typically average probably like 7 to 8, but that's just me. All right, so what is Vipassana? Okay, so Vipassana is basically the technique of the Buddha. Basically, I'm going to try my best. Yeah, I'm really going to try my best. Basically, it's a body scan. That's the technique. You're doing a body scan from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. And basically, we learn how to observe our sensations on the surface, at the molecular level, on the surface of the skin. And what this helps us do, well, not just observe, but we observe with equanimity. So as we're doing the body scan, we're observing the different sensations, whether it's a positive sensation, like, oh, this feels good, or like a negative sensation, which is like, my legs hurt, my back itches, or just something, whatever comes up, we're learning not to react. That's like the key, not to react, just to observe the sensation. And yeah, without any cravings and without any aversions. And what that teaches us to do is that in our day-to-day life, we're able to manage our emotions. We're able to regulate our emotions a lot more, because a lot of us day-to-day, like something happens and all of a sudden our mind is crowded. We just can't think or something like that, and we just react. And when you learn how to work with the sensations at the molecular level, you're really able to observe your reaction, observe the situation, see it as it is before having any type of judgment. Like you're able to handle situations better because you're able to observe them without any strong emotion. A lot of people are just like, can't really control our emotions. And this really teaches us how to manage that, because the thing about life is that so many things are just thrown at us, and oftentimes we're not prepared. And so this is a tool that helps us to manage that and, be able to like take on life with more courage, because we're able to control ourselves a lot more. Okay. Also, I just want to say, when we practice Vipassana, we're learning to remove what they call sanharas, or bad habits, like patterns of the mind. So there's things that are really deep rooted, and during the course and during our practice, we're bringing those things up, and they're coming to the surface. We're observing them and letting them go, and like we're able to be lighter and lighter and lighter, and one day we'll all reach nirvana when they're all removed. And so that's basically what the practice is. It's just helping us reach our freedom. Yeah. And it's also non-sectarian. All right, so my background. So basically I've been meditating for several years, but I mostly was doing a lot of anapana. But I've been meditating since probably, I feel like high school, maybe a little bit before then, but seriously since 2020. And I really took it seriously, like I said, in March 2020, because I had a panic attack, and I have a history of anxiety, and I had a chronic illness in 2019. I had a chronic illness in 2019, and I had to leave my past apprenticeship, my dream career, and then, I recovered from that chronic illness, but then and then, life got better, and, life was getting really great. And, I got like an amazing job offer. And I remember when I got that job offer, like I felt great, but at the same time, like this anxiety, like kind of like overtook me, because I had fear of something bad happening again. And literally for a whole month, I had like the worst anxiety or panic attack ever. And it ended up causing like permanent damage, because I was just so afraid, of something going wrong. Like, this is what happened to me last time. And, like, this is just too, like, this news of this new job is too good to be true, and da-da-da-da. So, yeah, I ended up getting tinnitus, which I still have, which is the ring in your ear. And I also have, like, chronic pain. So I have, like, I don't like to say the word a muscle disorder, but I have, like, chronic spasms in, like, my face and neck. And for the longest, like, they hurt, but I think they've pretty much stabilized, but I still feel them all the time. So once I realized how much anxiety really affected me physically, I had to take care and manage it. And that's what really got me into meditation. And I've heard about Vipassana meditation for years. Dang, this video is 8 minutes long already, and I feel like I barely said anything. Yeah, but I don't know, I never had the courage, because I thought I had to be like an expert meditator. But yeah. So I finally ended up doing it after since 2020, 2021, 2022, I was just doing Anapana. And then I think in 2023, last year, is when I did my first retreat. It was absolutely incredible. And then this year I did another one. And then I've also done 1-day sits at the Dhamma House in New York City. I've also done a 3-day course earlier this year at Dhammadhara. I've also done volunteering, a service period at Dhammadhara, volunteering in Fishkill, New York, a weekend campground period. I volunteered at Dhamma Neru outside of Barcelona, and then I'm going to do another volunteer in 2 months. So yeah, and then next year, but I'll talk about that later. So yeah, I feel like I'm kind of a little pro now, but I'm just going to talk about how it helps me. So I realized that I am a lot more calm in general. I have less desire to be a keyboard warrior. Typically, if I'm on YouTube and stuff like that, and I see a comment that kind of annoys me, I feel like I have to respond to it. And I do that a lot less. I still do it a little bit, but on social media, the more I practice and the more consistent I am with meditation, the more I just want to put positive vibes out into the world and not engage with low vibrations. So it's helped me learn how to manage that more. I've also been more patient with people. One of my main character flaws, I think, is that when people are talking, I feel like I have to say something before they even get to finish their thought. And that always bothered me so much. And I realized after my second retreat, a lot of that disappeared. It was incredible. I was able to feel it coming and stop it before. So that's why I talk about the sensations. You feel it when you learn how to make that mind-body connection. You feel it coming on, but you're able to observe it and just let it go. And so I felt that coming up. I also have more mental strength with just things in general. I've been the most consistent the last 2 months, because I have a lot of stuff happening in my family life, and I feel like I need to be the stronghold for my family, and that's been the main motivator to sit an hour a day. And so because of that, like, this is really what's keeping me strong right now for my family. I also put that, like, I noticed all these changes, but I had to remind myself to not get an ego from these changes, because sometimes when you see like these amazing effects, you're just like, whoa, like you kind of feel powerful or something like that. But I had to remind myself, like, just observe, don't react. Also, I've learned I can feel my body a lot more. Like, I can feel every single inch of my body at every second, like a random spot in my body, which pre-Vipassana I could never feel. So I definitely have a very strong mind-body connection. Whenever I'm walking, I feel like every single part of me. Yeah, and I'm just able to observe everything and just take everything in. There's like this increased confidence. Like, I first noticed that after my first retreat, like I'm just able to like take on like anything and anyone. So this really big confidence. I have a lot of Vipassana friends now. Like, I definitely grab everyone's contacts. I think I know all the Black and brown Vipassana sitters in New York City. No, I'm joking. But no, because I've just done a lot of volunteering, I've met a lot of Vipassana sitters because I take everyone's number for the most part, and I host group sits. I made a lot of friends. And also, I went to Chess Forum in New York City last year, like 2 weeks after my retreat, and I made a new friend, and like we're really friends. Like, she was also a sitter, and she's from Burma, and she's done the retreat twice as well. So yeah, I've just been meeting so many like random old students everywhere. Even like a month ago at some French meetup, I met an old student. Also, this isn't really how it helps me, but I realized that like I'm learning to be more observational and more forgiving, but also more strict with myself, to realize that I still have things to improve on when it comes to my personality and the way that I communicate with people, the way that my humor is. I realized that I have a very interesting humor, and it doesn't work with everyone, even though 90% of the people in my life think it's like the fun, I'm like one just extremely funny, like just because I say what's just on my mind all the time. But I realized that I think there's like 3 occasions in the last year that made me like take a step back and realize I still have a lot of work to do, and not everyone understands my humor, even though it's coming from a positive place for me. Sometimes it may translate differently for other people. And even though I feel like you can't be perfect with everyone, and because you can't be perfect with anyone, and all these people are definitely still my friends, I realized that I never want to make anyone feel less than, or like, I just want people to feel loved and just in good vibes when they're around me. And if that means I just have to be silent, I'll just be silent, like, I just want to make sure that if I'm saying anything, it's coming from a place of love and it's making someone feel better in my presence. So yeah. And I remember after my first 3-day retreat, one of the main things that I got from Vipassana was that after my first 3-day in January, because after the first retreat, I was barely sitting. Like, I probably sat like twice a week. But after my 3-day, I really sat like for 5 weeks straight. Like, and I felt like heightened sensation. And I remember after like 2 weeks after my retreat or something like that, I literally felt like a complete human being. Like, I felt like a wholeness, which I had never felt in my entire life. And I remember thinking, how do I feel whole when I'm single? I'm not in a relationship. I don't have kids. There's still more to life that I have to experience. But why do I feel like this is enough? It was just a very strange feeling. I remember laying on my bed and that moment came. And I haven't felt it since. But I will never forget that moment, because I never felt completed before. And I definitely felt completed in that moment, which is insane. Yeah. Vipassana benefits. The community. Oh my gosh. What I've learned about serving, which if you are an old student, you need to serve. Everyone is amazing. Like, it doesn't matter their race, their religion, their age. Everyone just love. Like, every old student that I've met with, like in day-to-day life, the people that I kind of interact with are kind of similar to me in a way, but like I can go to a Vipassana retreat and connect, have like a close, I don't want to say soul tie, but just a strong connection with some like 70-year-old Chinese man, you know, and just feel like he wants the best for me and I want the best for him. And like, we're all just like in this together. Like there's no wall that's normally in society that separates us. It's just like everyone has these pure souls. That's the only way I know how to describe it. Like the people who I volunteered with, they're all so beautiful and they all feel, I've never felt like, okay, there was probably one time where I saw a little bit of like not noble speech between, you know, two people. But 99% of my experiences with old students has been just like beautiful souls. I just don't know how to describe it because it's not something that I experience in day-to-day life. There's always something that separates us, you know, like a man's world, a woman's world. We're Muslims, we're Christians, we're Asians, we're blacks, we're like, there's just all these things. We're feminists, we're Republicans or something. I don't know. And just at Vipassana meditation, like when we're serving, we don't even discuss those type of topics. Like we practice noble speech, which is only speaking. I think noble speech is only bringing up topics that are, I don't want to say positive, but anything that avoids low vibrations. And people seem to adhere to that for the most part. I just love it. I just love it. Everyone's just pure. I don't know how to describe it. Like I said before, mastery of mind. Anapana. I don't know if I said that, but Anapana is when you focus on the breath work. And that helps a lot with like learning how to get rid of your monkey brain. And so that helps. And also like Vipassana strengthens that with the body scan. Oh my gosh. Every problem is viewed as an excuse to practice Dhamma. Like literally, that's how it is. Like, especially when I'm serving, anything that comes up, any complaint, is just like, don't complain. This is just the way it is. Accept this moment. And it literally translates into real life. It is very interesting. And so there's a lot of people who practice Dhamma are like really humble, you know, and you learn to not feel like you need everything. You learn to just accept things as they are. Oh, and also I have like a WhatsApp group for people from my what am I reading? Sorry. And also the last benefit is that it prepares you for life. Like I said earlier, when you learn how to master and regulate your emotions, things in life which really break the human soul and human spirit, you learn how to handle them a lot more easily. And just, you're able to be the rock for those that depend on you and for yourself. And I definitely feel that because that's literally the situation I'm in right now. And you just don't know, like, that's why I feel like everyone needs to do Vipassana, especially if you're young and in your 20s. That's my biggest regret. Like, I did Vipassana when I was 29 last year. Now I'm 30. And I knew about that for like 10 years prior. After college, I was traveling when I really could have been traveling and doing Vipassana. Like, it was free. I could have been at a monastery or something. I just didn't know, or I didn't think I was ready. So I'm like an evangelical now. Like, I tell young people all the time. And I got a few people to do it, actually. So I'm excited about that. I'm really happy. Consistency. So after my first retreat, I wasn't too consistent. But in the last, I'm more consistent than the average person. I'll just say that. I definitely am consistent to a degree, especially after the first 3-day course this year. And also because I'm a host. I'm not an official host, apparently, because there's certain strict rules. So I'm an unofficial host, and I also attend other group sits. And also I'm an admin for my last cohort, and we do daily check-ins. And literally today, like 6 people checked in. And so I feel like that really helps us all be consistent. Like, I sat an hour this morning, and I sat 1 hour. And then other people were like, I sat 25 minutes, I sat an hour, I sat 15 minutes, I sat 30 minutes. And so we all keep each other accountable. And so I'm just going to give you some data. I use the Insight Timer app, and I have a lot of data from actually years because I started using it in college. I have data on this account from 2017, but I'm just going to talk about the last year. So for 2023, I did, starting August, 16 sessions, and then September, oops, my bad. All right, August, I did 5 sessions, and then September, I did 12 sessions. October, I did 5. November, I did 4. December, I did 10. And so for that year, 2023, I did 171 sessions. But honestly, a lot of those were short. This year so far, hours trained for 2023 was 33.21 hours. And then for this year, I've done 46 in January, 13 in February, 13 in March. Also keep in mind that when I'm at centers, they take my phone, so I can't even use my Insight Timer. So I definitely did like a lot more in like March because I was sitting 3 hours a day, but I didn't have my phone to record it. Or like in the Damanero, they took my phone and stuff like that. March 13, April, is that 13? May 14, June 10, July 16. June shows 10, but that's when I was at my retreat too. August is 16, September is 44. And I know for a fact that I don't have the data for October, but I've done them every single day at least. So I've definitely done like 11 sessions in October. And so far for 2024, I have recorded 185 sessions. You can add on, I think it's probably 200 because there's no October here. And also not much of the end of September. And then over 100 hours. So I'm saying like at least 120 hours. And then, y'all, I was learning how to use Excel. Google. I was using ChatGPT to help me. I'm going to show on the screen like more data. But it shows that number of days with at least one session. So I did 30 days in September, all 30 days. But my best month was in January. Well, January is also 30 days. So those are the 2 months with the most days. And then today is October 11th. So I've done like 11 sessions. I'll also show screenshots of my Insight Timer app, but I love it because I'm able to log and keep track of all my meditation practice. So like it also shows me in the app here, it shows that I have a 43-day streak. Dang, you can't even see that. Okay, well, it's 43-day streak. And then in the last months, it shows I did 10 hours and 15 minutes this month. And it shows me for the last year. So September was my highest, even more than January, in terms of how many hours of meditation I did, which is amazing. Yeah, because I've really been sitting consistently for an hour a day because I have a new morning routine where I read, I stretch, and I do an hour of meditation. All right, so now I'm going to talk about future goals, short-term goals. I want to master my mind and be disciplined to sit once in the morning and once in the evening. Right now, I'm doing once in the morning. A few times I've done once in the evening, but maybe not like a full hour. I just need to get on track with that. I want to do 1 full day sit a month at like whichever Dhamma center, maybe even at someone's place. Just do, a 1 day sit once a month. I also want to do bi-weekly group sits. I know a few people who host here in New York City. And also I'll be serving a 3-day course, my first course, in 2 months. And also I'll be serving next year a 10-day course, which I'll discuss later. Long-term goals. I want to maybe do a long-term serve one day. Obviously I won't be working, but maybe I'll take a gap year or something. I also want to do more service abroad. I love service abroad because I speak Spanish, French, and Portuguese fluently. And so if I'm able to do like a center abroad, when you volunteer, the volunteers also speak that language. So if I do it, like when I did it in Spain, I was really speaking Spanish 24/7 because all the volunteers spoke Spanish. And then we're all working together because we can talk. But then we're also sitting 3 hours a day doing meditation. So it like adds all my hobbies. And then I'm going to do one in France. I'm going to do one in Brazil. And so I'm super excited. Long-term goals also, I just want to be free. You know, my spirit to be free. I want to do a Satipatthana course. I want to do a special 10-day course. I want to do a 20-day course. And I want to try to quit drinking. That's going to be the hardest thing. I don't know if you can see my apartment. That's why I'm not an official host for New York City area, because I'm a mixologist and we're not allowed to have liquor in the house. And I have liquor all over my apartment from all over the world, like literally liquor everywhere. But I barely drink. I'm only a social drinker. However, when I'm in Europe, I want a glass of wine. And when my friends are over, like my friends are coming tonight. That's why I'm recording the video right now, even though I feel like I should have prepared more. But they want to pregame, but I told them, I was like, I'm practicing to not drink. So I'm hoping, I'm not going to force myself to stop drinking, but I'm hoping that through practicing sitting 2 hours a day, I will just learn that I don't like drinking and just stop completely. And so I have to learn how to do the precepts so I can qualify for all these other courses. So I hope that I gave a good, this is a long video, y'all, but there's just so much. Like Vipassana has really changed my life for the better. And this isn't really supposed to be a short video because there's just so much to say. So I guess for those who need it and want to learn more about the community and just have more questions, I feel like I'm like a good person to ask now. I am an evangelical. I'm very marinated into the community. I do also do virtual sits like 7 a.m. and there's like a Q&A session. So I'm really like, I try to be as plugged in as possible. And I feel like because I do a lot of short-term volunteering, it keeps me motivated, because sometimes people just do a 10-day sit once a year or once every few years. And if they fall off, but when you do when you're tapped into the actual Vipassana community and there's sitters around you and you're consistent, like I understand taking off 10 days is difficult, but if you can do a 3-day or a weekend serve, you're literally tapped into the community. You're sitting multiple hours a day with other people. You're serving, you're meeting them. Everything is free. Like when I was in Spain, all I paid for was my flight. When I serve, in 2 months, all I'll be paying for is my flight. When I serve 10 days next year, all I'll be paying for is my flight. Food is free. Housing is free. Vibes are free. And so it's literally the community that helps to keep me motivated. And just doing all these things in between helps to keep me consistent. And just knowing that I need Vipassana. Like, without Vipassana, I don't know where I would be, because anxiety has had a very strong impact on my life. And so, yeah. I hope that I gave a good representation of a Vipassana community for you. Keep in mind, I'm still on my learning journey. And, maybe next time this year, I'll even be a much better person than I am today. Because what you see today, I may not be like the number one representation of meditation and like Vipassana, and I have like a lot of flaws. But we're all of us on this journey are working towards being that better person, being that ideal version of us, being that freed person from the ego. And yeah, that's just where I want to be. So let me know if you have any questions. I just love to talk to people about Vipassana, and there's not enough Vipassana YouTubers. So I want to do a few more videos about, Vipassana. So you guys will see that. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to send me a DM on Instagram at Sonder_expeditions, or just message me in the YouTube comments. All right. Que tenga buen día. Ciao, ciao.